All right. Hello again, my MMA aficionados, and welcome to another live edition of Back Talk. I am, of course, Jason Burgos, and tonight I have the great pleasure of being joined for the second time in just a few weeks by one of the premier talents in the UFC's featherweight division. He's come to us on the heels of a UFC Fight Island main event win over Dan Ige last week in Abu Dhabi, and he's here to talk about that and answer a bunch of questions from you and followers of the sport. And that man is the number 6 ranked Boston finisher himself, aka Calvin Kattar, Mr. Finisher, sir. Thank you for joining me to co-host this podcast tonight.
Yeah, appreciate your time, Jason. Always good talking to you, man.
Now, it's
How you
my,
doing?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to have you here. It's not every day you get a main eventer to come on your podcast, so I appreciate you gracing us all with your presence, good sir. Now, I have a bunch of questions. Now, an interesting thing that I did not know and learned from the marketing of your fight with Ige was that you are one of 3 kids raised by a single mother. I am the youngest of 3 boys, also raised by a single mother. I know how much my mom's hustle for us influenced my work ethic today. Are there things about watching your mom grind as a single mother and multiple kids that had a big effect on you? And it has had an effect on how you conduct yourself, how you conduct your career, and even the mindset you maybe have as a fighter.
Yeah, definitely. It's always a strong point of my go-to of why I work so hard, and then being the youngest of the 3 siblings, always kind of chasing out, trying to hang out with the
You're the
older.
baby boy too. We're both
Yeah,
baby boys. Oh wow.
exactly. So just always chasing my brother's coattails and my sister's friends and all that. Always being the youngest one, and they used to kind of all pick on me a little bit,
Mm.
and yeah, it made me who I am today. Definitely for sure.
Is there things that you can remember, like whenever I hear a certain song or certain music, I just flashes back to my mom, like cleaning the house or grinding to do those things because our asses surely weren't cleaning anything. Are
Yeah.
there those certain memories, like certain things you see or certain songs, and you just remember the grind of your mom and the hustle she had to do, like on that every week basis?
Yeah, definitely. Just how we were able to make it through a lot of holidays and things, and especially when times are tough. Definitely makes you grateful for things the way they are kind of now at this point and getting there. But um, yeah, definitely influential growing up, seeing those things, and um, definitely serves as a reminder why we work so hard now to this day.
Was there anything when things started going so well, like they have in the last few years, that like so many athletes do, like that? Was there something that you maybe wanted to get her, or you found out that she wanted, like one of those cool gifts you could get because you're doing so well financially that you were able to get for her and kind of really make her happy?
Yeah, I constantly always try to find ways to do that, but it's not always the big things you get that make them the happiest.
True.
Sometimes it's little things. So just try to be mindful of that, and yeah, just staying in the gyms, and she's big with that. She owns a CBD company, which is
Oh wow.
holistic healing and things like that. So I'm constantly getting salves, rubs, CBD products that help me with the day-to-day grind of camps.
I like how even though you're like a superstar UFC fighter, mom is still giving you free stuff. That's just a mom kind of thing. But
Yeah, it is, man. It
I
is.
I have a lot of respect for Dan Ige. That said, I thought this was a favorable matchup stylistically, and I thought maybe there was a good chance you could maybe get the finish in this fight. But it went the distance with you winning 4 of the 5 rounds on a couple of the judges' scorecards. Was he exactly what you expected, or did he surprise you? Maybe was better, maybe tougher than you expected going in.
No, he was exactly what we knew we were getting ourselves involved with. He's a tough kid, and he's very durable. My hands were pretty jacked up about
Mm,
halfway through that fight, and I had to switch to some elbows and knees, and
wow.
uh, he was so still trying to get the finish. I felt like if if I was a little bit more accurate, aside from some of the shots I threw, that maybe I could have got it, but. Uh, Aside from that, when you can learn off wins, it's always a good day. And getting the main event win, that's another checkpoint of ours that we had, and just happy with learning off wins because in this sport, anything can happen. And facing top 10 talent, especially a guy
Yeah.
like Danny, good 6 fight win streak. You don't go on 6 fight win streaks by accident. And we were able to get the job done and still pull away with some stuff we want to work on for the next one.
Now, it's interesting you brought up your hands, and this goes to the same point, too, because I actually wanted to talk about your nose, because it
Yeah.
got damaged in the Stevens fight. John Anik brought it up again after this in the post-fight. Like, is your nose completely healthy? Is it something you probably could use, like, corrective surgery on, but you really don't want to sideline yourself while you're so hot and getting close to the title? And does it have any effect in training? Did it have any effect in this fight in terms of, like, breathing, or maybe not breathing, just being distracting?
Yeah, we have to just always adjust to anything and everything. I had hurt my hand back in the day, and um, that led me to have one of the better jabs because that was
Mm.
all I was able to work on. So you just kind of find ways to adjust and adapt. And for this one, we had to wear like a mankind cage. I don't know if you saw over our face all training camp to protect the nose,
Wow.
prevent the accidental hits. And couldn't really breathe on that thing much, but I can't really breathe that great in general. But
Hmm.
way prior to even getting into the UFC, so I definitely look forward to one day getting it where I can breathe correctly. And but for right now, in the moment, like you said, I'm not going to get sidelined over something
Yeah.
that is going to probably get hit again in the future, and I'm going to have to deal with eventually again. So right now, I just find ways that I could do natural remedies for a lot of the things that I got. Thankfully, my mother's got a business that
Hmm.
specializes in that. So I'm in a decent situation right now, and I just got to work on slipping and moving my head more than anything else.
So should we expect, like, how a lot of the ladies will put on the lotion at night and get the skin at night? You're just CBDing the nose, CBDing the
Yeah, yeah,
knuckles.
yeah, exactly. A couple face masks.
So
Yeah, the
that's
usual.
that's nuts to see that, to hear that it, like, is a bothersome thing with breathing a little bit, stuff like that, because there's never a question about your cardio, and, like, your cardio is
Yeah.
always on point. In fact, so I mean, is that a thing? Like, I mean, also with the hands, like, what's the thought process in terms of the future? Do you need to kind of take like 2-3 months? Is that what you want to do? And maybe you could find out about like a lighter procedure for the nose while you're healing the hands or anything like that.
No, I'm a fighter, man. I feel like short time from now I'll be good to go.
Hmm.
I just got out of a 25-minute fight. Couple more days, I'd say. I'm gonna get checked up on Friday just to do my due diligence, make sure I don't got any crazy injuries going on. But
Hmm.
aside from that, just normal nicks and bruises post fight. Your thumb gets swelled up after a fight.
Hmm.
Your hands every now and then. My nose, it seems like every other fight. So I'll be ready to go soon enough, whether it's with that crazy, face mask that I got or one way or another, because sitting still is definitely isn't for me.
Fair enough. Now, as of this recording, you're still ranked number 6 after the win. Now, of course, the higher the ranking, a better case for title shot can be made, but doing so from number 6 is difficult. Now, the
Yeah.
guys in front of you, Zabit, Korean Zombie, Ortega, Rodriguez, all have not even fought this year. Maybe you can kind of
Say
make
that
an
again?
like Zabit, Korean Zombie, Ortega, Rodriguez. None of those guys have fought this year. And those are the guys right
Okay, yeah,
in front
no,
of you.
just making sure everyone else heard that too.
Yeah.
Because we're going on fight number 3 next one. Let's
Exactly.
go.
So they haven't fought, but maybe okay. You make you for the foreign guys. You go, okay, they can't get into the country. Maybe now they can do Fight Island, but that's about to end this week. So okay, maybe
Yeah.
slight excuse. But for Ortega, he has not fought in over a year and a half. Is it annoying that you just beat a top 10 fighter, can't even move up a step, but he's still number 3? And do you feel you are deserving of release 4 or 5, and maybe Mr. Ortega needs to come back a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, these guys are all going to get it eventually. I prefer to, just square up with them all in the octagon and let's see where the chips fall.
Mm.
The rankings are what they are. It's a flawed system. So is in the scoring. We could debate it all day, but I'd rather go in and find out. And I think we're in good position to take on these guys. I think everyone's in agreement that I should face the top 5 guy next. So whichever one it is, I'll be ready. And then if it ain't the champ himself, because like you said, these guys aren't fighting. They're
Yeah.
sitting back on fights from last year. Me, I'm out here competing, earning my opportunities. And if the champ says he wants contenders, you're not going to find one more ready than me right now.
Very true. Now, your coach Tyson Chartier posted on Twitter, like maybe like 2-3 days ago. It's been real, Abu Dhabi. We did things here. We will discuss the rest of our lives. Now, assuming you guys didn't get into some Ocean's 11 style level heist and like steal a Fabergé egg or something, it seems like this trip for you and your team was a special one. What made this one more memorable than the rest? Was it simply being in the exotic locale of Yas Island, or was there much more to it that made this thing special?
Yeah, more chaos and more to remember. It was a wild experience going out fighting in Fight Island, and 120-degree temperature every day. The long transportation to get there, the safety precautions that were unlike any other at
Yeah.
this point. And just the area itself. Like I said, we were able to go jet skiing, which was fun. We were F1 race car driving underneath the hotel. Hit that before we got out of there too, and just trying to find a good balance of enjoying ourselves, because the journey is a destination for us on these fight weeks. When am I going to be in Abu Dhabi again? To maybe do some of these things, but also realizing that it's a business trip as well, and we got a job to do. So I felt like me and the team did a good job balancing that, and now it's on to whatever's next.
How long has, I mean, because you just recently got back to the States, how long is it taking to get back to like the timing? Has it been easy just because you guys were doing a schedule where you were getting up really early and stuff like that? Like, has the transition back to U.S. time, East Coast time been easy, or are you still really fucking tired?
It was easier on the way there when I had to stick to schedule for the
Yeah.
fight, but now on the back end, it's just like it's a mess. But we're getting there. I'm staying busy. Couldn't sleep, hitting a couple jogs, just shaking things out after the flight. And overall, feeling pretty good. I'm getting back to the swing of things now, but just still taking a couple days to come back from Abu Dhabi and also Vegas.
I didn't get to talk to you about this a couple weeks ago when we talked before the fight, but this is, it was the news of you recently re-upping for 6 more fights with the UFC, and that begs so many questions from me in terms of, first, did the UFC approach you on a new deal before the last one even ended, and why did you not want to go out there and test your value in free agency, because your value is as high as it's ever been?
Yeah, I just let my manager Tyson Charter kind of deal with all the paperwork side of things. He's great at what he does, and I have complete trust in him to go out and get me the best contract for what makes the most sense. And we had a main event opportunity with Dan Ige, and he saw it as a good opportunity to renegotiate. And now we have a 6-fight contract with the UFC, and I'm very happy working with them. And we just got to just keep going in the right momentum, keep winning fights, and only good things will happen.
Now, I've talked to Eddie Alvarez once in the past, and he talked about the only way you can really truly know your values, you got to go out there. And like another thing is like, Shane Burgos, when he was a free agent recently, he straight up openly said, "I want to only be in the UFC," which didn't really help his leverage and stuff like that. Now, for you, what would you say your view of the sport is? Is it really like, okay, as long as I'm making good money, I want to be in the UFC, I want to be a UFC champion? Is it like, I want to maximize every red cent? Like, for you, would you not be happy if you're making more somewhere else, but not fighting for UFC title? Like, if you were making more in PFL, Bellator, would you not be happy if it wasn't in the UFC and for the UFC title?
Well, if I'm going for the title, I want to be in the UFC. I feel like it's got the best fighters in the world. But at the end of the day, we're also trying to get paid and provide, food on the table for our families, and really just a lot more than that. But for right now, I'm just concentrated, on a UFC belt. It's pretty close. It's right in the grasp. And from there, I think the money's going to come anyway. You keep winning fights, good things happen. You get paid more, and all that good stuff will catch up to you. So really, I'm mainly focused on just putting in the work in the gym. I know I've got some big fights coming up. If I can pull out some W's like I know I can, then all that money and all the good things are going to come. So that's where I kind of just put all my energy and focus in right now.
All right, fair enough. Now, I'm always curious on what UFC talent think of like their colleagues in another promotion. What are your thoughts on Bellator's 16-man featherweight Grand Prix that they began last year? Do you think like the talent there is just as good as some of the talent in the UFC? And do you think someone like Patricio Pitbull, arguably the best fighter in Bellator history, do you think he'd do good in the UFC? Do you think he could be a title contender up there?
I definitely think that the elite and some of the other promotions could make it a fight at the guys in the top 15. I definitely think that there's solid guys out there. I do like what Bellator is doing with the 16-man tournament. I think it's kind of cool to show that storyline of the guys competing, and then even if your guy loses to the guy, well, now you want to see if he makes it all the way. Things like that, storylines. I think that idea is pretty cool, and I'm all for different promotions mixing it up, having it fun. Whatever gets cash over to the fighters and creates more opportunities is a good thing for all of us. So.
Now, these are the set of questions coming from the Sherdog forums, coming from social that we got already and stuff like that. Now, first one comes from Magic Mark 787 on Twitter. He says, how does Calvin feel he matches up with Max Holloway? If he can't get Volkanovski next, would he like to fight Max next? And this is the same thing I asked you a couple weeks ago. Would you be interested in Max? Now that we know Max is not champion, he's still number one ranked. Maybe that changes. Maybe you do go up, he goes back. But all these other guys having issues getting into the country. Is now that the Max Holloway fight seems very possible, is that the fight you would want maybe second if Volkanovski doesn't look at you first?
I want all 5 of them, man. There's no order. I just fought Dan Ige. I don't even care if they're behind me. Whatever guy is saying to the next guy, I'll take the fights that none of these guys want to take. Nobody wanted to fight Dan Ige on a 6-fight win streak. Nobody wanted to fight Zabit or go to Russia. Nobody wanted to really fight Jeremy Stevenson on a lot of upside on the back end or if a scary win like a guy like that. It's like, whatever, man. I don't really overlook at this point in the UFC. If you think I give a shit about who I fight next, being at number 5, then I'm not dodging around easy fights, not easy. Like, I'm a fighter, man. Whoever they put me in there with next, ideally the champ. And if it's not the champ, I want whoever's going to get me the champ next. So it's really just cut and dry like that. Yeah, Max would be, I'm sure, a fun one stylistically. I think he's tried standing the whole time with the champ. That's similar to what I did. I'm sure we'd have a pretty good stand-up fight for the fans. But I see myself competing with all these guys in no order. And I'd be cool even fighting them all before I got the belt. This way, when the belt is around my waist, it's like they're not going to have anybody for me at that point. I'll have already taken on all the contenders. And I feel like that's when you earn the belt. Take out all these guys. And I feel like that's what the current champ, he has a good mindset on his show. Right now, he wants to take on all contenders.
Yes.
And I respect that. So I think you're going to see a lot of good fights. It's going to take time with the way these guys are pacing themselves.
Now, but give me something. Is there someone like either on a fan level or I just hate this dude level? Like, is there like, Zabit, that was bullshit when he made me go to Russia. We didn't have fire. I want to whoop his ass. So Brian Ortega, he's not really number 3. I wanted to show he's not. This is something.
I've wanted to fight people for a lot worse, man. Those reasons to go get paid, that's easy money. Like to fight any of these guys, I fight like they all owe me that win side money anyway. Like I told you, man. So it doesn't matter to me. They're all just the same thing, digits and the same amount on the back end if you beat him, except for the champ. He's got a premium on his contract. So ideally, I want to go after him.
So we talked last time I had asked you, were you the type of guy back in the day that if someone scuffed your new Nike, would you, drop them? So suffice to say, whoever in the top 5 wants to scuff Calvin's Nike first, you got to fight.
Make a deal. Yeah, you gotta fight. Exactly. Scuff my shoe. Oh shit! Yeah, scuff my Venoms, right? Or we gonna rebuy. We'll figure that out.
Whoever pays the most, that's who you go with. Now,
whoever pays the most.
Now, this next question comes from For Theo. He asked it's directly to you. How much time do you think you need to heal? We kind of talked about this too. Is your plan to still get on an end of the year card with Rob Font? Since we already talked about when you want to fight, is that the plan? You hope you and Rob can get on the same card?
I hope so, but I know that there's supposed to be fights before then that could impact the rankings and things in my weight class. So try to be as ready for anything like that if an opportunity does present itself. But meanwhile, falling back on the idea that it'd be nice to compete with my teammate Rob Font, who should be healthy by the year's end. Definitely.
How disappointing is it that you can't, that Boston card wasn't rebooked? Like, that's not something that you could look forward to in the rest of the year. Like, is that like, damn, like it was so close to getting on another Boston card. Now that's like a 2021 thing.
Yeah, definitely either the Boston card or Vegas. But I really try to be mindful of people dealing with a lot worse shit right now due to the pandemic and where things are getting tightened up.
Yeah.
Where we fight is one question, but just being able to fight is a good problem to have. But I definitely miss competing in front of a live audience, and then obviously no no place greater than the Garden at home.
You mean Madison Square Garden, New York?
No, TD Garden, bro. Come on.
No one knows that garden. Stop
Championship venues.
it. Now, SDP Dude 9. Thanks for this complicated name. They ask, with the crowning of Davison Figueiredo, has your interest in the flyweight division risen? I don't know. I think, yeah, for me, it's cool, that there's a guy at the top that can knock people out. That's always exciting. But I think the division has come on really good in the last year. The thing I'm annoyed about, honestly, is everybody's talking about other fights for the Davison Figueiredo other than Brandon Moreno. Brandon Moreno needs to get a title shot. But what are your thoughts? Are you more excited for flyweight, or is it about the same for you?
I mean, it's about the same. Although that dude is a beast, man. He's a talented fighter to watch. Anybody can do it to Joey Benavidez, is a tough cat, and Joey's no joke.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's an impressive performance the other night. But aside from that, there's been, killers at 25. But, yeah, I've liked the 25-pound weight class even before he was the champ. But definitely adds a little flair right now with the belt, and I'm definitely excited to see what's next at the 25 division. A lot of up and coming exciting fighters too at 25 that are making a name for himself. So keeping an eye on a lot of them as well.
What in the fighter community, for someone like him who had a title shot, missed weight, then had to kind of run it back because he won it without being champion, is there, like, in the fighter community, do you guys kind of look at him like, yeah, I respect Davison, but dude, like, come on, missing weight, title shot, like, do you all kind of look at him like, F that guy?
Well, I mean, if they did, he definitely, they might have been rooting for him to lose after that first one because, maybe just hating on his ass. But when you win like that in the second one, tough not to tip your cap, especially if you did it legit the second time.
Yeah.
It makes you feel less sour about the first one. But, credit to him. He was able to do it, the second time out. So it wasn't all the weight difference. So.
Yep, not true. Now, this next question comes from Hito. They ask, should Calvin Gascidum hire a dietitian and move to 155 or 170 pounds where he belongs? This is an interesting one because he was at 170, seemed like a really good high-low prospect coming off the Ultimate Fighter, couldn't make weight. He's been very, very good at middleweight, but now this was another tough loss, a very fast loss to Jack Hermansson. Like, what are your thoughts on him? Do you think, like, no, he's been good, that he almost had a title shot, almost won the vacant title, he's good? Or does part of you think, like, what, maybe if he had a more stricter diet, more disciplined personally, he could probably be a nasty welterweight?
Maybe you had said 55 though.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think 55. That's what the person asking. I don't.
That's
55.
crazy,
No way.
man.
No way.
I don't know. Like you said, sometimes the sport will do that. He was just in title contention, and now a couple fights later, they're ready to throw him to the wolves. The sport could be like that, man. Yep. It's crazy. You fight some of the best guys in the world, but sometimes those freak. What is it? A heel hook you got caught in?
Yes.
I didn't even see it, to be honest, but I heard about it. Those things sometimes come out of nowhere. I don't know, man. Maybe he just got caught, had another bad day. But who knows, man? That's something for him and his team to figure out. Luckily for me, I've found a home at 45. I feel good with it. And it's tough to switch things up when they're working in your favor. But where he's caught a couple of L's, who knows, man? That's up to him and his team.
And I'll add some stats. I mean, and he's an interesting guy because he's a real tweener. Because at 170, he beat Rick Story, he beat Jake Ellenberger, he even beat Uriah Hall in the Ultimate Fighter.
He's tough, man.
Yeah, he beat Nate Marquardt.
He's a good resume. And he looks very like the least suspecting guy, right?
Yeah, and his losses. His losses are Arasanya, Till, and Hermansson. This is like the top 5 guys. I don't think
it's time to reinvent the wheel, man. The guy's just got a couple of L's. He's just human. Human.
I agree. Now, next question comes from Hiroshин. They ask, this is an interesting one, did Peter Yan beat the best version of Jose Aldo? I mean, this is an obvious no, right? Of course he didn't beat the best version. This is not WEC Jose Aldo anymore.
I wouldn't say he was the best Jose Aldo, but supposedly he's feeling better than ever at 35. But I don't know, man. He definitely beat a tough Jose Aldo. He didn't look bad.
He brought back the kicks.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought the kicks were clean.
Yeah.
His kicks are dangerous, man. I like seeing him when he's getting going with those. But Peter Yan's just on another level right now.
Yeah.
And you could see it.
Do you like? I'm sure you probably went through this in your career as you made it up to the level. What's bugged out about like what you mentioned with Jose Aldo saying, "Oh, he's feeling better," because he wasn't really using like a dietitian, like the eating plan, all those things at 145. So he started doing it at 135. So like, just tell people when you were making your way up, having to be your own dietitian and all those kind of things, and now as a
Oh
top level
man,
pro, what's the difference when you have that level, that help, and then you don't?
it's night and day. It's night and day, even down to just your strength and conditioning, and
Wow.
then and then you as an athlete, in the beginning years as opposed to 13, 14, just how you look at the game. You should always be trying to improve each camp. So if you look at how many fights I've had, at least 25 or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully by fight 25, you're pretty dialed in at this point, and that's why I felt like this time I believe my weight cut was probably, along with the Abu Dhabi Heat, it was one of the easier weight cuts I've ever had. But that's just kind of staying busy, being a true professional, trying not to get too big in between the fights with the weight, and it's a lot of little things like that that add up over time. But yeah, that's the difference of an amateur and a professional, and then trying to gradually just improve each camp.
Was there a thing when you started having to eat cleaner, eat these different things that you never really ate before? Was there a thing that you're like, what the hell is this? There's no way this is gonna be good, and now it's like your go-to, like this thing is freaking delicious.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of healthy eating, and then the more you eat it, the tastier it gets, and then
Yes.
post fight, you
Yeah.
go through that balance of where you eat the shitty food and it tastes too sweet, but
Yeah.
then post fight, that's all you're eating, and then it resets your template again, and then the healthy food tastes like shit all over again. It's a weird cycle that it does, but um, you kind of learn to deal with it, live with it, and sometimes those quick turnarounds when you didn't get all
Mm.
that good cheap eating in yet, you kind of freak out a little bit. You're not ready to go right back to eating the salads, but
Mm-hmm.
they're all pros and cons, man. Short camps, now you don't get the fight hanging over your head for 5 months like I did the last one.
Mm-hmm.
There's just pros and cons to all of it. You just got to try to focus on the pros, and and just do what you can, like we do. Considering the last one with the short notice, and just adjusting on the fly.
What's your ultimate cheat meal?
Chicken parm. I'm a big chicken
Ah.
cutlet guy. Yeah.
With pasta or on a roll? I love a chicken parm hero.
Yeah, so that's not bad. I like them all, man. I like. There's so many different ways you can have it. I had it yesterday with some sauce and some meat sauce, some cheese, and some pasta. Today I got it with a little rice, broccoli, mushrooms, and lemon juice.
Nice.
Yeah, so mixing it up, a lot of different ways. But I've had it myself in like a Neapolitan with some what is it? Red peppers, mozzarella, and some prosciutto with a dry
Nice.
cutlet, a little oil. Sub roll, forget it.
I feel like we're bonding. We're finding out we're both baby boys. We're finding out we love chicken parm,
That's
and
it, man.
we both realize Madison Square Garden is the best garden. I mean, we're just clicking on all cylinders
Yeah.
right now.
Oh man.
Now, the next
You had
question.
me for that.
The next question comes from a name I can't even pronounce. So I'm not gonna pronounce it. I'm sorry. Get a better name. Now this person.
Try it. Come on, give him a shout.
It's IJNGF, so it's like Ingigif. So if that's your
Okay,
name,
all right.
Ingigif, Ingigif
So-
asks, "What do you expect?" And I want to get your opinion on this as a high level striker. These are two high level strikers. What do you expect to happen in Adesanya versus Costa?
I'm excited as hell for that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to do that. Just because they both seem like they really want to fight each other. And
Yes.
whenever you get two guys that really want to hurt each other and fight, that's a fight I want to see. Get my attention for sure.
Is there anybody in your UFC career that you really wanted to hurt?
Jeremy was kind of out there, just more so because I felt like all the disrespect leading in was, asking for the fight, doing all the shit to get it, and then the weight issue and
Mm-hmm.
all those things. But post-fight, it's kind of tough to hold grudges, and he even came up and showed some respect. So from there, it's tough. But previous to the fight, that was kind of up there. And then for other reasons, just always wanting to win fights, for the one at home being in Boston, I really want to win, but it was nothing so much to do with Burgos. If anything, I respect Burgos almost more than most of the guys I fought. So, yeah, depends.
Now going back to Costa Adesanya, though, who do you have a pick? Do you see someone edging it out more than the other one?
Costa looks like just superhuman, right?
Yes.
It looks superhuman.
Yes.
And then, but Adesanya's the champ, man.
Yeah.
He's the last out. He's smooth. So tough to go against him.
Now, this next question comes from Substance Abuse, lovely name. They ask, what's your favorite UFC all-time fight? Now, I made my quick list. I want to definitely get yours. My favorites that I like are Cormier Gustafsson, Shogun Machida 1, not 2, Machida 1, Henderson Shogun 1, and GSP BJ Penn 2. I love them just because of the storylines, the technical skills. Like Shogun Machida 1 doesn't get enough credit for how nasty the technique in that fight was.
Yeah.
But for someone like you, closing in on a UFC title fight, main eventing UFCs, are the fights you like to watch, or the fights that inspired you, that your favorite fights, even if not UFC?
Not so much that maybe specific fight, but I mean, when you want to watch a dog fight, I was always into the Mickey Ward and Toro Gotti.
Ah, yes.
Some good boxing fights there. You want to just see sharp defense, Mayweather, obviously. But that's with the boxing style. From there, I used to love watching just guys like Nick Diaz talking shit in the ring. Obviously, I like the Diaz brothers a lot. I like what they bring to the table and the energy they bring every time they step in there. It's like a fuck me, fuck you attitude, you know? And I like that. I like the champ, GSP, one of the greatest to ever do it. I like his humbleness and how he carried himself as his champ too, on the complete opposite spectrum. Yeah. So I'm a little all over the map, man. For sure. I mean, a lot of good ones. And obviously Conor, man. If you don't like what he's done, then you're just a hater. Brought a lot of excitement into the UFC as a whole, and then what he was able to do in the octagon was pretty crazy.
And I'm glad you mentioned some old school boxing, because you seem like a guy that probably, maybe grew up on boxing, liked boxing, stuff like that. Like, who did you have favorite boxers? Like, for me, growing up, it was like Riddick Bowe, Oscar De La Hoya were two of my favorites. Like, who did you have favorite boxers coming up?
Yeah, I mean, it was really fortunate I was able to work with Mickey, so,
Oh, wow. What was that like?
It was great. It was really. He was always having me. He's like, "Listen, man, they're going for the takedown." He's like, "How do you just work the liver? The body shot's wide open." He's always just drooling over a body shot. And as going for a takedown, it's like their ribs are wide open. Actually, I hit it on Dan Ige when he was standing up this past fight. Gave him a little body shot to the stomach. Compliments of Mickey.
Now, this next question comes from Jose Mota 05 on Instagram. They ask, which baseball players are you most looking forward to seeing back in action? We won't be seeing Mookie Betts in Boston. That's what we won't be seeing, Calvin.
Yeah, man, it's tough. It's tough. I'm going to be excited to see anybody in a Red Sox uniform, for starters.
Now, I'm disappointed that, one, we can't all boo the Astros because they're pieces of shit. And then also, we can't boo the Red Sox because the Red Sox are a bunch of cheaters too. Unbelievable.
Easy, man. Listen, if you ain't trying to cheat, you ain't trying to win, apparently, right? But
that's the Boston motto for the Patriots too. They like to cheat too, huh, Calvin?
I don't know, man. I don't know about all these accusations. Listen, we don't got that out here in the MMA side, man. If anything, that USADA shit, we're all for it, man. Ain't nobody screwing around over on this end.
Now, this next question, when you have 3 left, this comes from Strat Blaffer. They ask, what with Khabib Nurmagomedov and Kamaru Usman being wrestling-based champions, what can counter a good wrestler besides the Jorge Masvidal to Askren flying knee? Calvin, take it.
The great equalizer. Yeah, you gotta land it on the chin, though. It's a tough part.
Is a good jab like helpful in wrestling? Is that like when the guys come in, if you can continue to work a jab, would you have a fantastic jab? Is that something useful?
A jab's very useful. I mean, it's kind of like, even if you just go with a fencing idea with it, and then you just distance. Yeah. You're just jockeying for distance with it. Even just at that alone, controlling distance and jabs, just like the low hanging fruit. If you can, just try to. If you can land the jab, you can land everything else behind it. So a lot of times, just trying to find that rhythm and that distance with a jab, you're in good position.
For someone that has to do so much wrestling drilling and all those kinds of things, what would you say for someone that, they're going up against a top wrestler? Is it footwork? Is it that constant, movement so the wrestler can't line you up? Is it really a specific defenses in when they go for a shot, or they got you against the cage that you just have to hit technically right and you're always good? Like, what are the kind of things?
You could do that, but space a lot of times, distance, controlling distance is everything for wrestling, for striking, for everything you want to do. If you can control the distance well, then the takedowns are coming from further away. You have more time to see it, react. So, and that's kind of why you think I got like 7. I defended 7 takedowns my last fight. Felt like I did a really good job at controlling the distance, seeing them from further away, and was able to deal with them, a lot easier.
That sounds like a really good game plan. If you fought Brian Ortega and he scuffed the Puma.
I mean, yeah, he's working on his boxing. Definitely, if you're a ground guy, it's like you gotta know some wrestling if you want to take it there. You know. So the only problem is wrestling's tough, and a lot of these guys don't like to, they don't like to train things that suck. And time, it is what it is.
All right, this question comes from John Magala. They ask, of the current champions right now, which one is most likely to lose their title in their next fight? For me, I think Stipe is definitely threatened right now in this third fight. There's no reason to think that.
I would say no. It's not a bad answer, but that's a hate-ass question. Right? Like, come on, man. Why are you gonna do that to one of the champs like that? Who do you think's gonna lose their belt first? That's
well, I know you want Volkanovski to lose his belt first, preferably against you. So you hating too?
Yeah, I take that. I think maybe the champ is gonna be the first one to lose. I like where your head's at.
What do you? My second pick would be Peter Yan. I feel like Peter Yan, while very good, maybe if he gets in there with like a really, really good wrestler like Aljamain, stuff like that, he might have a tough fight. Like, what do you think of Peter Yan? Is he really? From what you see, because you know boxing and striking, is his boxing as legit as it all seems? Is it real, or maybe he got
clean, man? Yeah, it's tough to find holes in his game. He's obviously done what he had to do. He's got that belt around his waist. He looks sharp doing it. He's just finishing guys on his way to doing it. That's impressive what he's been able to do up to this point. But Aljamain's a tough fighter as well, and he's definitely deserving of the shot. So now we're gonna see what he's gonna do with it.
What do you like? And during this last couple events, they had asked Dana White, "Oh, is Aljamain the next guy?" And he's been kind of like he's done in the past.
Don't start with that.
Well,
shit
I ask you because that could very well happen to you. You are so close. Are you worried about that happening to you? Like you are the guy who should clearly get the shot, and Dana's like, meh. Or do you think
that would suck? I like to be the guy that he's doing it, for. I like to be that Jorge Masvidal just slipping right back on in like it never happened, like it was the plan all along.
Do you think the Boston connection helps you?
I hope so. But hopefully it's not the opposite where they don't want people thinking there's any bias going on. So maybe he gives it to me harder. But if that's the case, either way, it's going to work out because we all know that the harder the road, man, the further you can climb. Yeah. So they don't want to give me the easy shots. That's fine, man. I'll get there one way or another, and I'd rather earn it anyway, man. Whoever they want me in there with next, I can't wait.
All right, fair enough. Now that's all for the question. Now, is there anything you working on? Any projects outside fighting you like to promote, get people out there, or just want to give them the social, let them know the Twitter, the Instagram, whatever? I
just say follow the New England Cartel. We just started a Twitter, and we're gonna be pumping all gear, products, everything like that through there, and updates with fight news.
Let me get a New England shirt. I want a New England Cartel shirt.
Yeah, it's all online, man. I'd already got a business. I'll give those things away left and right. But check out the New England Cartel Twitter, and you just get up to date with all things cartel business going. So thank you, Jace. I appreciate the time, man. I look forward to hopefully setting this up again soon.
Before we go, let's hook up Mom. What's Mom's website? CBD. What's her website?
Okay, I like it. Oh, you got to come see her store in Haverhill, Mass. It's called Humble Healings, and it's what street is it? 90 Washington Street, Haverhill, Mass. You got to go check her out, or just see it on Instagram. She's always posting a whole bunch of crazy stuff.
All right. Now for me, Cheap Seats Chat on Twitter and Instagram. Got some good stories coming up this week on Sherdog.com. I got a Leon Edwards piece coming to you. Gonna have some other stuff. Check it out as always. Calvin Kattar, number 6 in the world. I'm Jason Burgos, and we're out of here.
Maybe number 5 soon.
Number 3, Brian Ortega. Move it back.
Let's go. Oh, come on.